certainly know that I didn't create myself. I certainly know that things that are seen, as Scripture indicate, only could have come here because of someone that you cannot see. Or at least the evidence of things we see points to a creator.
Okay, all right.
Because it didn't happen by themselves. And so, being a Christian, I believe in God, even though we may not know who He is, what He looks like, and all of that. But we do know that He works. We do know that things happen when we believe in Him, and things get done, and our lives change when we believe in Him and in His Son, Jesus Christ. It's got to change because it demands change. And based upon what we have been taught, now I'm not saying that all the teachings are on the up and up. Sure. Because people have their different reasons. And
their views and opinion, war views and all that.
But basically I have seen that it works for me. And I guess that's one of the things that make it relevant, that if it works for you, then it works for you. It may not work for other folk. And I don't condemn other people if they believe, because they believe different from me. I won't do that. But I do have enough belief and faith in what I believe, that if God, if Christ want to get anyone, He'll get them. He will prove Himself enough that a person would want to embrace them. And so it's kind of out of my hands as to what people believe. I'm responsible for what I believe.
And basically our life influences others. The way we live our life, you're a role model to many people. People look onto you, they want to be like Mr. Titus Rich. And
yeah, that happens a lot. I can't say they want to be like me, but I think they listen a lot of times to what I have to say. And having said that, you remind me of a young couple. I do counsel young people. Okay. Premarital, marital,
juvenile cases,
going through
problems.
Had a young expectant couple expecting to get married. Right. They wanted someone to counsel them, and they chose me and my wife. And I asked them, why would they choose me and my wife? And they said, we wanted to talk to people who had been married for a long time and try to find out what it is that would keep two people in this modern day and age where marriages only last 5, 6, sometimes 2 weeks.
So 8 days.
What were you doing?
It's amazing.
What's happened to you two that you would last for 40 years?
40 years, 41 years.
And so they chose us because they figured, I guess, if you must have something, you must know something. But we don't know any much more than what other people know. But except we stick to the principles that we have learned and adhere to being Christians.
Is that what you told them?
Yeah. Oh well, yeah, and other things too. A lot of other personal stuff. You know,
yeah, sure.
In order to last, you got to be consistent. You have to be tolerant. You have to realize that things are not going to go your way all the time. And you have to be able to listen. You have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to observe situations and wondering why people are acting this way, and are they tired, or are they hungry, or whatever, and just don't go in negative ways when a person might give you, or your husband might give you a negative response. You want to try to figure out, back off and try to observe and see what's going on, and then the answer will usually come.
The answers usually come. So basically, people are free spirits. The Lord gave them their free agency to make their choices, and the way those choices good or bad, lives with us.
Yes, we always have choices. There are two choices I tell young people. There are two choices that we cannot make, will never be able to make. And that is one, when we are born and to who, where, what. And when we die, how, when, where, what. But all between those two choices, every other choice is ours.
Influence it. Ladies and gentlemen, reporters here, Titus Rich Jr. We can only make two choices. I mean, we have no answer to two choices. When we are born and when we pass on to the next generation. Mr. Rich, thank you so much for talking to us. Is there anything we are missing that you want to tell young people out there in summary that they might want, something they can take home? I mean, all that you said are very relevant. You can actually take them home if they listen very well. But I mean, rounding up, is there anything I missed that you want to tell the public out there who are listening to you or your family members?
I've often heard young people say, I want to be somebody. And I counsel young people a lot. And I would say to any young people, a young person that says, use a phrase like that, I want to be somebody, that they're already somebody. They just may not know who they are. And knowing who you are, always, you have to go back to where you came from to let you know who you are.
Yes, sir.
And then that you are will lead you to what you are going to become. A lot of young people get lost in becoming something and fulfilling what they are going to become. And those years are usually between 12 and 30. That's where a lot of turmoil happens in the lives and minds of young people. They must become something. And I mean, since they're already something, they must become the person that they're going to be for the rest of their lives. And it usually happens between 12 and 30. And during those years, there's a lot of turmoil and identity crises. Who am I? Where am I going to go? Where am I going to live? How am I going to make it? Do I finish high school? Do I go to college? Do I follow my friends? Do I follow my parents? There's a lot of choices that they're going to have to make.
At that time.
And they need to understand that there's going to be a lot of change in that period. And during that period, you can become anything. If there are things in your life, in their lives, of becoming the person that they're going to be, if there are things there that should not be, then you take it out. Because you can also put things back in there that will make you become the person, or that enable you to become the person that you're going to be. Because it's very difficult. Once you get to a point in life, it becomes harder. It becomes harder to change.
To become something else.
Yeah.
So basically, between the age of 13 or 12 all the way to 30, it's a molding, changing, metamorphosizing stage that you begin to mold to become from one thing to the other until you become that which you want to become.
I liken it to the metamorphosis from a caterpillar who's actually surviving, being mundane, learning, getting
neophyte development.
Getting what it needs in order to survive, because that's all it does during that time is eat and grow.
That's right.
Information coming in, and young people.
Stages, basically, the stages.
Yes. And once you get what you need, then you get it from your parents and your teachers and your neighbors and your friends and the TV. You get that while you're in, I call the caterpillar stage. But something's got to happen. You got to take all that information, all that understanding, all that training or whatever, and it has to become solidified in some way. It has to change. It's going to make something out of it. You're going to make something out of all that information that you have. And that's the time, I would say, between 12 and 30.
So basically,
and when it goes into, like a caterpillar, you get into that chrysalis, the cocoon stage.
Cocoon, from cocoon.
And all that information
Right.
is put together
development.
And developed into it changes its body, it changes its thinking, it changes a whole lot of things.
So basically, one thing that is constant is change.
Yes.
So change will surely come.
Got to. Must.
Whether we like it or not. It's a must. Go ahead.
You die.
Wow.
If you don't change, you die.
Tell me more about that. That's very deep.
Well, like
if you don't change, you die. But can you control change? Is there any way you can? Because change has to come, whether we like it or not, whether negative or positive.
You can control elements of the change, but you can't control the whole
change itself.
Because we're constantly changing.
We're constantly changing.
From the time we're born until the time we die, we're constantly changing. Nothing remains static. So this information that we got through the caterpillar stage, now it's going to become something identifiable, much more than what it was in the caterpillar stage. And it must shut down. And this is one of the problems that a lot of young people have. In developing to be that man, woman, scientist, doctor, lawyer, president, 12 to 13, things shut down. And become like, I don't know what to do. And do stupid stuff. Silly stuff. But it must happen. That's why you find a lot of times young people are basically loners when they are, many of them, when they're 13, 14, 15, 16, they become loners. They like to stay in their rooms. Parents wonder what the heck's going on. But they become introverts. They go into themselves, and they must change, because that's necessary for change. There's self-reflection. Going, who am I? What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? Who am I going to marry? Does she love me? Does he love me? I don't know what to do. And they go inside, and they're pretty much alone in many ways. Even though when they're out with other people, they still
lonely
inside.
Internally.
And that change must take place, and it's tough. It's got to take place. Because if it doesn't take place,
the change will come. That's what it is.
You die.
Wow.
But the end product that comes out, the butterfly.
The butterfly, in terms of the butterfly changes by caterpillar, from cocoon to caterpillar to then it has to become butterfly. Or it will die.
If it doesn't, it will die.
It will die.
And once it happens, now that butterfly is basically much freer than it was as a caterpillar.
Mr. Rich, yeah, go ahead.
It can go many places.
Fly, do many things and freedom, that's what it is.
Eat nectar rather than munch leaves. And be prized as a butterfly. I mean, people look at butterflies and say, "Ooh, I like that one. That's beautiful."
The stages that you went through to become that beautiful.
Young people can have just that. If they allow themselves, or circumstances allow them to develop properly, when they come out, people will desire them. So
basically, they should allow their circumstances to stop them from dreaming or becoming that which they want to become.
Right. And once you let people know what you want to become, and they see that you're a young person is determined to become that, people will help them.
We help them.
And that's the way I kind of view situations, and helping young people understand who they are and what they need to do in order to become the person that they deserve to be.
Mr. Rich, thank you so much, sir. I mean, we can go on all day, but we're gonna wrap it up here. We wanna say thank you again for granting us this opportunity to share a few words with you, and for you to have shared all this with you, an embodiment and invaluable information that we have here. And I'm sure it's a good idea for young people listening. Reporters with Titus Rich Jr. here in New York City. Thank you, Mr. Rich. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
appreciate it.
Thank you.